Yeah. All
Right.
right. So thank you. We're here at another We Overcome at 247. And we're here with Chelsea, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we're here with Chelsea. And listen, I know that you're an educator, and I know that as we go through things, right, it helps us and it helps someone else. But we don't go through it just for ourselves. I've learned this, right? A lot of
Mhm.
times it's for us, but it's for someone else that we can help someone else. So we just want to kind of hear your story. And I kind of want to start back. We talked a little bit. I want to start back where, first of all, we know you're an educator, but I want to start back with how did all of that journey happen, right?
Ah,
So
yeah.
let's go over that. How did all of that happen? I know there was a child involved, all this. So let's start there. You just take over.
Start there. All right. So and after, high school, all the things, I always wanted to do early childhood education.
Okay.
And then something changed my mind and I just said, no, this is not for me. I don't want to do early childhood. There's no way. And so I never thought I'd work in a high school, but I needed a job. So as a nanny, summer came to an end, kiddos went back to school. I needed a job. And so I applied to be a media clerk at one of the county schools in the area and ended up at a high school. Never in my life, I'm thinking early childhood.
Right.
I end up with high school kids, and I was probably 21. I was young. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, I loved it. But then I ended up having a child, about 25, and media clerks don't get paid enough.
Ah,
And so I was like, all right, no, this isn't for me. I need a real job that can afford my family and, we can take care of things. Because my husband's a police officer, he was working. But in today's economy, it's still really tough to be a single household income.
yes.
And so I actually had nannied for a sweet friend of mine for many, many years, Tiffany, and she and her mom owned a company in Villa Rica and asked me to come and do scheduling. And I was like, all right, God, if that's where I need to go, I'll go. Here we go. So I went and took care of schedules for a personal care company in Villa Rica for many years. Let's see, probably 4 or 5, maybe less. I don't know, a couple of years. But I really liked it, but it was just never my calling. So it was like, all right, I'm here. I did my job. But then I was just feeling like I was working a lot.
Oh,
Um, and I was just tired. And I was like, this isn't bringing me joy anymore.
yeah.
It's not bringing me joy. It's really draining me. I was on call a good bit, just working. And I was just sort of tired. And so one night I was talking to my husband about it and I was praying about it, like, what do I do? And I heard God say, apply to teach. You need to teach. And I was like, what? Like, okay. So I have my degree in business management. So I was like, okay, I'll teach high school business management.
Yeah.
Because when I worked at the high school, I loved it. I never thought I'd do it, did it, loved it. So I was like, let me do business management. Well, there's only about 5 to 10 of those positions in the county. That's really hard to get.
Yeah.
And God said, oh no, apply for math. And I was like, what? Me? Like, I hated math my whole life. Never in my life thought I'd teach math. And I
Right.
was like, okay, God. I was like, if I can do business and scheduling and accounting, I was doing payroll and all these things. I was like, surely I can teach middle school math. All right. So I applied on a Wednesday night, got a call for an interview on a Thursday morning, got hired Thursday afternoon, and
No, but
took the GACE to become a certified educator that following Saturday.
wow.
And I failed the first test. I had no time to study because I had um, applied on Wednesday and took it that Saturday.
Yeah.
So I failed by like 1 or 2 points, and I was like, oh, "There's no way." So then I took it right before school. Like, it was pre-planning because you can still be hired and take time and things to retake the test. But I was like, "Oh no, I really need to pass this test." took it again the day before kids came into the classroom, and I passed professionally.
Come
And I
on.
was like, how? How? I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did differently other than study, but all right, to God be all the glory, because
Yes.
I'm about to start teaching tomorrow. And I don't know. So my undergrad's in business. So I passed the GACE, and then I went to teaching a different route. So I began my master's program at Shorter University in Rome to earn my master's in art of teaching, middle grades mathematics pedagogy, and graduated a year later with my master's degree. Became a certified teacher and just went that provisional route. And
Right.
I never thought I'd end up where I did, or teaching math. But here I am 3 years later, still
Let's
teaching
go.
math and just really learning it and understanding. So my first year, I remember I was up there about to teach about area, and I was like, what in the world? What is area? Like, I couldn't even like recall what area was, because I was having a moment. And so I had this,
Yeah.
my first year teaching, I was studying every night between my master's and between learning content wise. I am just studying content. What do I do? How do I teach this? What's the best way? What are some real life representations here? When will kids actually use this? Because we all know kids hate math.
Right.
And they're
Right.
like, I'm never going to use this. And I'm like, oh no, you're going to use this. Let me find a reason. Let me let
Yeah.
me research when you're going to use area before you even ask me. Um, so that's how my teaching career began. First year teacher, I was nominated for the new teacher of the year at the
Let's
school I was
go.
at, received it. I was so blessed, so honored,
Yeah.
worked so hard, but I was just really thankful for that recognition, because it just really solidified that I was doing what God intended for me to do, and I was
That's
in my
it.
calling.
That's it.
Um, so I did that, and then, just looking at all the kids I get to work with, and just really, I love that I teach math, but also I like to tell them I teach them some life, some real skills here, some communication, and how to deal with conflict and things like that, because not all of those things were ever taught. So those are some of the things that I really hone in on in my math classroom, and how can I make this work with all the things.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I know even in all that we had some heartache because we've had children, right? And we had some complications with children. So tell us a little bit about that. Because I know you've had a
Yeah.
journey.
Oh, I've definitely had some testimonial journeys here. So when I was pregnant with my daughter, Emerlyn, I was pregnant with twins. One was in my fallopian tube and I didn't know, and the other one was in utero. So it's called a heterotopic pregnancy. So one day my husband woke up and he was about to get ready for work, and I was ready for work. I was heading to work and I felt fine, but he did not. He's like, I think I have the flu. And I was like, well, you're staying home, because men don't ever want to miss work.
Right.
He and I was like, you're staying home. You're not going to work today. So I'm driving to work and I just started cramping. And the next thing you know, I'm at work and I call my mom, and my mom's like, something's wrong. You need to call your doctor. And they were like, well, take some Tylenol. You'll be fine. And I was like, I can't walk to get it. That's how much pain I was in. And I have a really high
Wow.
pain tolerance. And they were like, okay. So I called my mom and she came and got me and brought me to the hospital. And I was internally bleeding. My fallopian tube had ruptured.
Wow.
And so I was at the hospital. They scanned and they found that it had ruptured, and I was at risk. So I had to get an ambulance from one hospital to go to Cobb Hospital, where they would treat pregnant women. And my sweet OBGYN came in, Dr. Lee, and he said, girl, I don't know what is going on. He said, let me see. And then I was sitting up in the bed and I would be like, Mom, I'm getting hot. And then I would just pass out because I was just eternally bleeding so much. And so he watched it happen. He said, you sat up, you were hot, you went white, and you went down. And
Wow.
he said, at that point, he said, you're going into surgery. He said, you have a baby right now, but you might wake up and not have a baby at all.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, geez. Because my husband and I had already been trying for a couple years to have this sweet angel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after surgery, he came in my room and he was like, do you know this is like 1 in a billion? It is 1 in a billion that
Let's
a woman
go.
has a heterotopic pregnancy. He said, especially if they're not an IVF or any fertility treatment. He was like, this is so rare. This is the first one I've ever seen in my career, and I pray to God it's the last one I ever see.
Mm.
I had to have blood transfusions. I was in the hospital, and all I wanted to do was go home. I wanted my house and my bed, but my sweet husband had the flu, so he couldn't be around me. They said, if you're around your husband, you're at a risk of infection and you
Mm.
will very likely die. You can't,
Wow.
your body's just too at risk. It's in trauma. You can't do that. And so I was like, okay. So I had to stay with my mom and be taking care of my mom, and thank God for her. So she came and, took care of me and all the things, but that was that one. So we have sweet Emerlyn Nora, and God bless her. She is a miracle every day. We are so thankful for her.
That's awesome. That's
And
awesome.
so she's turning 7 this month, and we've wanted another one ever since. And we are just now finding out that we're expecting baby number 2
No way.
this
Come
summer.
on.
So we are blessed that we get to do it all over again, and
Yes.
pray for a healthy baby, delivery, all the things. But we are
Yes.
so thankful for the
Yes.
opportunity to just love another little one. So it
Amen.
might be 7 years later, but here we are. We remember praying on the way to work and just being like, God, I know that you're able to do this.
Yes.
I'm just doubting that you will.
Hmm.
Help me help my unbelief, because I'm doubting that I will ever have another child.
Hmm.
Because I prayed at my old school, I just said, God, if it's not in my intention, if it's not in my will, your will for me, calm my heart. Take that desire away. If it's only meant for me to have one child, take that desire away. And I woke up the next day, and that desire was just stronger and stronger to have another child. And I was like, oh, here we go. And so now,
I
a
love it.
year later, this is about where we are. So it's always a good thing.
Yes.
But it was definitely a challenging moment to really just lean into God and be like, all right, I know you have a plan. I
Yeah.
don't know it. And it's frustrating that I don't know your plan, but I want to see it through, and I want my heart to align with your will.
Come
Because
on.
now I'm
Let's
in a
go.
like, I want that. And so for that desire to really come through, and for God to hear, I think, a lot of the times we see it, and we think like, okay, well, God knows my heart. He knows what I'm praying. But to really speak those words out of your mouth with vulnerability and say,
Yes.
God, I know you know, but I'm good. Thank you. Um, I know you know this, and I know you can do this, but I'm doubting. And to really admit that with your own mouth of words to God, and
Yes.
just be completely vulnerable with the person who made us, the God Almighty, and to really open your heart. Because while He knows us and He knows our heart, are we really letting Him in all the time?
Right. That's
Are you
awesome.
communicating that?
That is so awesome.
Um, so that's just that part, of this little bit.
And you
And
know what? It is such a journey for us, all of us as believers, right? We think a lot of people think when you become a child of God, you believe in God, that all these things are gonna be so nicely just laid out for you, just
yeah,
placed in a line. It is
but
nothing
you have
like
to take
that.
up your cross daily.
Yeah.
You have to take it up daily and decide to do that, because life's not easy. I feel like once you accept, right, your life really is then even more a tool, because then
Yes.
God's using you.
I
So
like that.
you're gonna face more challenges, and you're gonna have more things. I never would have thought the journeys I've been on,
Yeah.
because growing up, my parents were foster parents. And I loved the foster care system. So I had the desire to do that one day. And I was like, hey, well, maybe that's where I'm headed. Maybe my husband and I are heading into the foster care system instead of having our own. But here we are,
Yeah.
getting to do it again, and still hopefully to fulfill the journey of being foster parents one day, to serve our community and just love kids, and to really meet them where they are. Here
Yeah.
I am, Lord, send
Yeah.
me. What can I do for the
Yeah.
kingdom to lead people towards the kingdom?
That's
Not
it. That's it. And I thank God for your servant's heart.
thank you.
See, I thank God for that, for your servant's heart.
Thank you.
Well, I
My goal.
thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us.
Anytime.
Yep. And the whole thing is, listen, at the end of the day, our testimony is how we overcome and they will overcome,
Yep.
right? For what does it say? For the blood of the Lamb and the words of what? Our testimony.
Yep.
So I thank God for you. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for taking out the time with us. I definitely appreciate you.
Anytime. You have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.